foam roll. This is probably a more advanced foam roll. As you can see, it's hollow inside. The ones that you may be familiar with seeing is one that's about twice this length, and it's white, and it's just a very basic foam, okay? That's your starter foam roll. If you've never done this before, please get that one. It's a little bit more forgiving. This is going to be a little bit tougher, but I've built up to this. I need this, okay? So I like to show people this because a lot of people if you've seen it and maybe you know what it is, you don't really know how to use it, or you know one or two things to do on it. So I'm going to show you a couple ways that you can really get the most out of this, and it's basically like giving yourself a massage without really having to do anything except lay there. So first thing we're going to do is, and again, this is short. Some that you'll see are longer. They come in all different colors now, and there's some that are even more aggressive than this. But this is actually a good, probably medium one for you to get down the road, okay? So I'll do this kind of every night, sometimes in the morning too, because I tend to carry a lot of tension in my mid-back, and just laying on this really feels fantastic, okay? I just rolling it out, and it will ease up any knots that are building up in my back. It's also a great chest opener. So actually, let's start with the chest opener part of it, okay? Ideally, it would be better if I was demonstrating this on one of the longer ones, because you can actually lay the full length of it. So what you would do is, if you have the white one or one that's longer, you would sit on the end and then lay back, and it'll cover the full length, okay? But I'm just going to go here. Now, the reason I'm showing you this is that if you sit at your desk all day, or you're in your car a lot, or actually most people have this problem, we're rounded forward a lot. And what's happening is the muscles in the chest are getting really used to staying that contracted, and you need to open them up, and that will help perfect your posture, okay? And then it makes life better in general. And again, I can go into all the wonderful benefits of the foam roll, and but we'll just start with me actually showing you the exercises, and then we can provide more information down the road, okay? And you can also look it up online. So laying back on the foam roll, all you have to do to open up the chest is your head can actually be on it too, okay? So I've got my head and my neck supported, and again, if I had the long one, this would run the full length of my body. I don't have to lift my hips up, okay? And all you have to do on this is bring your elbows together and your hands together, and then drop them open like a goalpost, okay? And you're just gonna hang here, and all that does is just loosen up the chest muscles. Simple as that, okay? Do that for a minute or so, and you'll be good to go. And if you did that a couple times a week, once a week, I'd be happy. Just do it at all, and I'm happy. You'll be happy. Okay, so now we're gonna go back to rolling the back out like I was telling you that I like to do. So the first thing I'll do is I'll put it under my mid-back, and then I put my hands here to support my head, and then I just roll, okay? Now, I'm doing this for what feels good to me, and right now I can tell you I have some tension in my mid-back, so I would want to stay here. Wherever I feel it, I'm just going to roll gently, okay? I can also shift from side to side on either side of my spine, and that'll get deeper into the muscle. And then I can also roll up to my upper back and just below my neck. And then one way to really get into the muscles around the shoulder blades is to bring the elbows in. Okay, and you're just rolling back and forth. If you find a spot where you have a knot in your back or lower back, wherever, you can hold there for a minute, but make sure you're breathing. Do not hold your breath on this, okay? Your muscles need oxygen. You gotta breathe or they won't relax. If you're holding your breath, you're tense, your muscles are tense. If you wanna loosen up the muscle, you've definitely gotta breathe through it, okay? So I'll just do a couple rolls back and forth here. Okay, then I'm gonna hit my lower back. And when I do that, I like to lean to one side. And this is where you can start to support yourself with your arms and your legs, okay? And I'm just gonna roll my lower back here, and then I'm gonna go to my other side. Okay? And now we're gonna get into the glutes and the hamstrings and the IT band, the iliotibial band, okay? So let's start with the glutes and most importantly, the piriformis. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit to the side and just sit on the foam roll to start, okay? You'll notice that when you're sitting on it already, if you're tight there, this is going to be pretty deep. So use your feet and your hands to lift you up, okay? This can be a bit of a workout too because you are holding yourself up. But I would rather you lift yourself up and take some of your body weight off of that tight muscle because I don't want you to be incredibly sore tomorrow. You may feel it, but if it's extremely painful, then you're putting way too much pressure on that tight muscle. And all you got to do is lift up, okay? So the more I'm sitting down, the more I'm digging into that muscle. So again, you're just rolling back and forth, okay? And if you don't have any knots in your muscle, at least just take a couple passes back and forth because you're keeping it loose, okay? If you have a knot, you're going to know it quickly. So now I'm going to roll into my hamstring. And again, I'm holding myself up with this leg and then also my hands. And then I'm just going to roll back and forth, okay? And then I can also turn the leg either side. Just give it a good roll. And what I do is I'll do all one leg and then I'll switch, but you can go glute, glute, hamstring, hamstring, whatever is best for you. If it's too intense, then I would go back and forth, okay? Now, especially for runners, what I'm about to show you, this is so important. So if you're a runner, pay attention to this. If you're not already using the foam roll, get one. I swear by it. Okay, the iliotibial band, IT band for short, runs the length of your hip down to your knee, okay? And think of it like it's right here underneath the quad muscle, and think of it like the seam in your pants, okay? So you'll find it there. It's just right up the side of your leg. Now, if you are running a lot and not stretching enough, you may at some point experience pain in your knee like I did when I first started running years ago in New York. I had this sharp pain in my knee. I had no idea. I couldn't even come out of the subway. It felt like somebody stabbed me with a knife. It was excruciating. So what I found out was my IT band was tight, okay? Unfortunately, there are not a lot of ways to stretch it, and so this thing comes in handy, okay? What's really happening is that the hips are tight, but it's pulling on the IT band, and so where you're going to feel it is your knee. So I find that a lot of runners think they can't run very much or as much as they like because they have a knee problem. And given they may have an injury that I'm not aware of, but let's say they don't have an injury and it's just tightness, what it probably is tightness in the hip. And if you release that IT band, you're off to running again, as was the case for me, okay? So the way we do this is, the way I do it is to prep one leg behind me, so that's going to be my stabilizer, and then I'm going to put my hands behind me here, and all I have to do now is just angle my leg so that I'm going to hit the side of my leg, okay? And then I can move back and forth. So right now I can tell you that right there I have a knot, okay? So here I'm fine, and here I'm fine, but right there I have a knot in my IT band. So instead of sitting on it, because that would be painful, I'm just going to roll through it. I don't have to work it out today, all in one foam roll session. I don't have to loosen that up today. If I just hit this a couple times a week, it's going to loosen up for me, okay? What I do sometimes is I will take a pass a little bit slower and breathe through it, okay? And then I may take a couple more, and then that's it. You don't want to overdo it. Okay, if you overdo it, you may actually end up with some bruising on the side of your leg. Not attractive. And it's also you probably just overdid it a little bit. So for me, I would just take a couple passes like I just did and then be done. Okay. Now we're going to flip over and actually roll the quad. Okay. And again, for you runners, this is a really great one because it's all surrounding the knee. Okay. So there's a lot of ways we can do this, but I'm going to show you specifically for the area that is known really as the teardrop. So you have this part of your quad that is shaped and comes up this way, okay? And I like to roll that out because that's going to, again, since I'm running a lot, that's taking a lot of tension, okay? So for your runners, definitely make sure that you foam roll the hamstring, the glute, and this the teardrop part of your quad, okay? So how we do it is, again, just laying this on the ground, and I'm going to work my left quad here. So now I'm going to support myself with my right leg, And I'm just gonna put this right underneath, and I'm turning my foot, so I'm not gonna be straight up and down. I wanna angle it so it's right here at the insertion point of the quad to the knee. And I'm gonna lift myself up, and again, I don't have to go very far, just rolling slowly back and forth. If I find a knot, I'll breathe through it, roll it out, okay? Again, I don't need to stay there long. You don't wanna overdo it. You can turn, and you'll notice that if you turn the angle of your foot, you're gonna get different, you're gonna get deeper into some areas of that quad. Okay, and then I can go a little bit higher, and I can also roll the outside. Okay, so really just play around with it. Do what feels good, but again, don't overdo it, all right? Now, one last thing I'm gonna show you on this today is an abdominal exercise. They're not easy, and that's why I like them. Okay, so I'm going to go into a push-up position. I'm going to put this down just underneath my knees. My feet are together. Let's fix that for a second. Okay. Starting with it under my knees, push-up position, and this is going to be a tuck. So abs are tight, pulling my knees towards my chest, and I extend back out. Keeping the whole time, so I'm not sitting down here, turning off the abs. Okay, I'm going to keep tuck in, abs are tight, extend it back out. By the way, if you do not have one of these and you want to try that, your kids will think you're funny, but get a dish towel, put it underneath your feet, and on your hardwood floor or your tile, slide it in, slide it back out. Okay, tuck in, extend back out. Make sure you're not arching your back. You want to really keep the abs tight and nice solid upper body. Okay, so that's it for the foam roll. Like I said, this is intermediate, medium foam roll to get. Definitely start with the basic white, plain. You can get them in any sporting goods store. Okay.